welcome you back inside Rogers Place, and we get set for Game 4 between the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers.
Brought to you by Tim Hortons, our Canada. Send the Edmonton. Nikolai Khabibulin makes his 10th start of the season and first since April 13th when he took on the Flames here at Rexall. He goes after career win number 13 against the Ducks. And at the other end is 30-year-old career win number 13 against the Ducks. And at the other end is 30-year-old rookie Victor Fox, who won his first 8 NHL decisions this year. Is 30-year-old rookie Victor Fox, who won his first 8 NHL decisions this year, but has lost his last 2. He faces the Oilers for the first time in his career. Last night, it was Dubnyk against Hiller. Hiller winning that duel, swimming up, and in the first minute, 5 seconds against the Edmonton Oilers. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Brought to you by the 2013 Ford Super Duty. It's built Ford Top.
Well, for the Anaheim Ducks, no question, a better start than the game last night. And they've come out with a little bit of fire here in the first period. A couple shots for them. A good opportunity leads to an early power play for them. And for the Edmonton Oilers, earning the split. 2 games at home in succession on each night. You don't want to ever give up 2 losses in a row on your home ice. Back-to-back, so they want to come out and try and have a better effort tonight. Pull out the win.
John Horkoff in the penalty box, 47 seconds in. The penalty's coming out.
Opportunity. Looking for a goal.
Minute.
And the way. He looks it in. He scores. Juston Sholts strikes first for the Oilers in Game 4. And it's 1-0.
13 Ford Super Duty. It's
with a little bit of fire here in the first period. A couple shots for that. A good opportunity leads to an early power play for them. And for the Edmonton Oilers, earning the split. 2 games at home in succession on each night. You don't want to ever give up 2 losses in a row on your home ice. Back-to-back special on each night. You don't want to ever give up 2 losses in a row on your home ice. Back-to-back, so they want to come out and try and have a better effort tonight. Pull out the win.
John Horkoff.
We have a 1-0 lead.
On the final, the Oilers trying to win their first game in this season series. 3-game matchup between Northwest Division team and Pacific Division team. Right away, here comes Zachary Poitras. And that is blocked before he gets through to Nikolai Khabibulin. Juston Sholts is up there with Nick Sholts. The big line for the Edmonton Oilers includes Taylor Hall, Sam Gagner, and Jordan Eberle. Remember, Taylor Hall scored 1 minute into the contest last night. And gets left. He's got Conley out of goal. Yes, takes the shot. There's a rebound. It was right there for Matt Molesky, but he couldn't put it home. Now he's got another opportunity. And a penalty coming up in the first minute against the Edmonton Oilers. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Brought to you by the 2013 Ford Super Duty. It's built Ford Top.
Well, for the Anaheim Ducks, no question, a better start than the game last night. They've come out with a little bit of fire here in the first period. A couple shots for them. A good opportunity leads to an early power play for them. And for the Edmonton Oilers, earning the split. 2 games at home in succession on each night. You don't want to ever give up 2 losses in a row on your home ice. Back-to-back, so they want to come out and try and have a better effort tonight. Pull out the win.
John Horkoff in the penalty box, 47 seconds in. He gets a hook. And the Anaheim Ducks were 1 for 5 on Sunday against the Oilers. Cam Fowler has a power play goal. They are 1 for 10 in the season series against the Oilers.
3 seconds into the
Power play that is ranked 7th in the league. And the Oilers, top 10 penalty killing, it is 9th. But what Ralph Kruger told us earlier about his plan for next year, Louis, is cut down on the amount of time this Edmonton Oilers team is shorthanded. The 3rd most time spent shorthanded in the league this year.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It really does break up your momentum. You're continually defending. It's hard to get going offensively, and it definitely fatigues you as well in the game. So for Ralph Kruger, he'll take a little bit worse of a percentage, he said, for a little less time to kill penalties. And I agree with him 100% in that regard.
It's 6-4 win.
Both great.
And the other night,
take
Monday, against Anaheim, and 3 nights ago.
The Oilers
In Game 3, the Oilers will try to sweep the
their
series
kill percentage.
and advance to the conference final.
Their ranking drops down from 9th to 17th. Edu Solani across the wing, centering back, working up neatly there by Nick Sholts. Down the boards it goes. Ben Lovejoy keeps it in for Solani. It gets by him. A race for that puck. Jared Smithson going after Francois Beauchemin. Poitras trying to keep it in against Nick Sholts. He can't do it. Solani on the far side. Solani to the middle. Here's Boschman's shot, and that one is high over top of the net. Picked up by Ryan Jones, and he will bounce that back the length of the ice and allow a change.
Good backtrack there by Jones, and good quick attack to knock that puck down, put it down the ice 200 feet after that one-time blast missed wide by Boschman.
Anton Lander and Ryan Jones are up front. It is Petrie and Schmid on the blue line. Trying to knock it out of the air was David Steckel, and he got a piece of it and got a shot right on Happy Bowling. That was like a bunt.
It was a good one, too. And
Petrie and Schmid on the blue line. Trying to knock it out of the air was David Steckel.
Scores! Anton Lander makes it 2-0 Oilers. First playoff goal ever.
And he got a piece of it and got a shot.
Anton Lander, first goal at First Point here in the postseason.
it was a good one, too. And I'll tell you what, this one bouncing towards I don't think Happy Bowling expected this one to come his way. After a good stick there by Petrie, he kind of whacks it out of the air. Steckel does. And is a one-hopper into the pad of Happy Bowling. Good job by him to regain sight of the puck and make that save right. Good job by him to regain sight of the puck and make that save right on the doorstep.
2-0 Oilers. As a member of the Ducks coming over from the Ducks in Toronto.
On top, and Petrie the assist.
Penalty is over. Teams at even strength. Dunedin being watched by Jeff Petrie. There's Ralph DeVore. Didn't play last night. But when he played at April, he scored 2 goals.
2 goals for Anaheim, and 2-1 win. So obviously the ex-Oilers making them pay the price.
We'll take a seat. Take a look at the starting lineup. Pizza, your hockey headquarters destination. We talked about some of those changes. The other one for the Oilers, Louis, is the veteran Eric Belanger is back in the lineup.
Yeah, back after missing the last 13 with that growing injury. He gets injected in there as Magnus PRV is going to miss this game with an injury. He took a shot that he blocked a couple games ago. He battled through it last game, but it was a little bit too painful to play tonight. So he's out of the lineup. And on the defense side of things, it'll be Ryan Whitney that steps in for Mark Fistrick. So a couple changes for Ralph Kruger in back-to-back games, and obviously with a little more offense out of the lineup for Whitney going back in there. He wants to inject a little offensive-minded defenseman into the back end to try and produce a little, making them pay the price.
Again, mentioning the open of Bobby Ryan is not even a destination. We talked about some of those.
This game with an injury. He took a shot that he blocked a couple games ago. He battled through it last game, but it was a little bit too painful to play tonight. So he's out of the lineup. And on the defense side of things, it'll be Ryan Whitney that steps in for Mark Fistrick. So a couple changes for Ralph Kruger in back-to-back games, and obviously with a little more offense out of the lineup for Whitney.
8 points in 33 games. Lovejoy sends it forward. There is Ryan Whitney to keep it in. Everly waiting for it. Lovejoy cut him off. Hardekainen comes in and gets that puck. Timo Hardekainen trying to get it back to Everly behind the net. He'll bring it to Gagne quickly up top for Whitney. Slides it across for Corey Potter. Corey Potter takes the shot that misses. Hardekainen on it. Hardekainen works it to Gagne. Got by him. Everly though with it. A good offensive push here for the Oilers. First 5 minutes of this first period. Gagne with it now.
2-0 Oilers.
And knocked down was Hardekainen by Fowler. Shot right on Boston. Couldn't grab it. And this line able to keep the pressure on. Bonino stripped of the puck by Jordan Everly. Everly gets it to Gagne, played it back to the point. They want to make a change, and Potter's going to drag the puck for a while, and then he will fire it in deep.
A long shift for Timo Hardekainen caught out there with Jordan Everly and Sam Gagne. A little bit of a change-up, trying to get a different line out on the ice in the matchup game between Ralph Kruger and Bruce Boudreau. He does a good job to crash to the net, create a couple chances.
Well, I'm just thrilled to have you here. Thank you. Hey, awesome. Especially in Canada. This is Canada right here. It sure is. So the alumni game, we'll just show our goaltender, Samuel, was just unbelievable. It's the last guy to have a fight in the queue, a goalie fight. So you guys were intimidated, and so was I. I want to go back to Europe. He was great. Everybody, Ken Reid was funny as heck. David Amber. I mentioned David. Davis really helped us. So a big performance here today, too. And
it's controlled by Anton Lander, but we have got another penalty coming up as Bolesky was crashing the net. And Sean Horkoff is going right back into the penalty box.
Yeah, and here's a missed call here as Palmieri's stick comes up and catches Corey Potter in the face. Right before that, he goes off, obviously getting it right in the yap. And then in the offensive zone, that battle down low once again. This Horkoff gets physical with the stick right in front, cross-checks Bolesky from behind. And making it a tough night in the blue paint for Anaheim. But he's going to go to the box for the second time in a row. The first one was on Corey Perry in that same slot zone. A heavy presence there by the Ducks so far in this game, and it draws two.
Ducks got one shot the last time they had the man advantage. Smith sends it down the ice.
It's old school hockey.
Yeah.
You used to have to pay the price to stand in that blue paint. That was allowed a cross-check like
That was 1980s.
Ducks with 2 power play goals in their last 6 games. Oshman trying to keep it in, can't do it. Smithson jumps on it, gets it to center at least. Brought back in by Palmieri. He had a goal last night. Nice move around Sholts, centering pass. Palmieri trying to jam it home. Heavy Bullen slid across. Take a look at the referee saying there's a lot of guys in the blue paint, you know.
You know, we talked about that urgency that Anaheim has to come into this game and possess and try and carry it through the last few games they have into the playoffs. And they've come out very aggressive in this first one. You're right, they're all over that blue paint.
And Getzlaf shot stopped by Eagle. Another chance, and Getzlaf puts it home. A power play goal for the Anaheim Cap. Stopped by Eagle. Another chance, and Getzlaf puts it home.
It's 2-1.
A power play
Corey
goal.
Perry, a power play goal.
Anaheim
6 in the playoffs.
And it's 1-0.
And the Oilers
A power play goal.
About this, when you look at this is just a combination of multiple opportunities in that slot zone and the presence in front of Nikolai Habibulin. He's had to battle around legs from the start of this game, and eventually one gets by him. It's Getzlaf that jumps on that juicy rebound and puts it home. But again, funneling to the net. Look, everybody converge in, gets in, and Getzlaf picks up a puck. Great job by him to knock this one down. After the first attempt goes through right there, kind of pushes it forward, snaps it home. And no chance for Habibulin on that rebound after that clearing attempt by Schmid goes right off of the stick of Getzlaf. A pass to himself in the back of the net.
And he ties Corey Perry, who scored last night, the team lead in goals. Each guy's got 15 now. Perry picks up an assist along with Francois Beauchemin. 6:13 the time of the goal. His 15th of the year. That was on the short one. Mike Brown steps away. He's got Ryan Smith with him. A nice hit on Daniel Winnick. Eric Delarge seeing his first action since March 25th. The pressure now as Pagliano's shot is stopped by Habibulin. Jumping it for a second, he'll hang on. Ryan Getzlaf has given the Ducks
in game 4.
lead. It's 2-1.
6 Americans on Anaheim's roster, but no one born closer to the city than Emerson Edom. He's from Long Beach, California, 20 minutes away. Started initially in roller hockey and moved his way up to ice hockey, and all the way to the point where he's the 3rd highest drafted Southern California born and trained player in NHL history. And this season, Edom made the team and was finally able to crack the line.
One of 13 NHLers to come from California. Got 9 points in the season, 3 goals, and 6 assists.
They're unforgettable.
And wheels to burn.
Absolutely. Pagliano, another guy that is quick. Pagliano is an Iron Man. He's 457 games straight. As the puck right now is checked by Everly. Gagne trying to get it to Hall. He is stopped, but Everly carries on. Everly drop pass for Hall. Hall back to Everly. Everly
Cutting in the shot for Hall.
It sits right there for Hall. He can't get it home. Everly cutting in. Everly with a backhand. And it sits right there for Hall. He can't get it home.
And a save by Devin Dubnyk.
Great save there by Daniel Winnick.
Great save there by Daniel
And then it
Winnick.
was ripped wide by Juston Sholts. Hall with it again. Taylor Hall turns, throws it to the middle. Whitney jumps over the board. Stopped by Boston. Fowler's back. He'll just dump that puck in and head off. A great opportunity for the Oilers to tie the game right there.
2 real beauty chances for Juston Sholts. You know he'd love to score against the team that drafted him originally, decided to become a free agent and sign with Edmonton. And a terrific shot from the point. Then he walks it right up from the corner and has 2 whacks at the puck in front after a real high-quality chance at the other end for Mikko Koivu. Sorry, Saku Koivu. Not Mikko, his younger, bigger brother. But so end-to-end action here early in this game.
9-2. The shots favor the Ducks with 11:50 to go in the first period. Edom Takes it himself to the far corner. He'll leave it there for David Steckel. David Steckel, 6'6", tied up by Corey Potter, fights him off and tries a wraparound of his own. Timo Harnakainen down the left side takes a huge hit from Francois Beauchemin. Beauchemin, not the biggest guy in the world, but he is solid.
He really is. He can really punish players, and you can just read that. That's a young player coming down, a veteran defenseman right there. And for Harnakainen took a little look back to say, who was that? And remember that number, because when he's on the ice, Taylor Hall's met him a couple of times already. He loves to throw his weight around. That was a perfectly timed hit.
Sam Gagner as well.
He stopped the juggling.
Sam Gagner dropped the gloves with Francois Beauchemin and then later said, oh, I didn't know he was a lefty. Somebody told me.
You're right, but I love the fact that for Gagner, he hung right in there and kept throwing. And you know what? For Beauchemin, he's had a terrific year this year. He's been real sound defensively, leads offensively amongst all defensemen. Plus minus is terrific. He's just been a real solid backhand player and a real good veteran leader for the Ducks this year, and a big reason why they're having such a great
22 points on the season, and he's also picking up over 100 block shots. Salami back to the point. Tommy Bachman will go across to Brian Allen. A wrist shot, and there is Happy Bullen to get the glove on it. And slow things down. Allen, a wrist shot, and there is Happy Bullen to get the glove on it. And slow things down.
Well, some good action. It took the Edmonton Oilers a little bit of time to get their first shot on net. They had a couple high-quality ones. The first one here, after a good chance by Hall, he finds Sholts, and he loves to shoot it from there and just misses it wide with Fats down on the ice. And we'll take a little good look at this from the Lasik cam, and it goes just over the net, and then Sholts walks it right out and has a couple good whacks at it. He looked back to see who that was, so we'll watch for that matchup throughout this game.
Goal scorer with the puck right now. Looks for Perry in the middle. He was checked by Ladislav Schmid. And Louis, you get that Sedin-like chemistry between these two guys. And that makes it especially difficult for Perry, for Petrie, and for Schmid. Getzlaf and Perry out there with a new line mate. Perry turns, centers it out in front, and there is Getzlaf. He swung and missed on that one.
Yeah, so important, and it's kind of a catch-22. You want to have that early attack in the defensive zone, eliminate that cycling ability by that big line, but they're so big and strong, and Ralph Kruger talked about that, especially Getzlaf and Perry. They'll put their back to it, they'll spin around, much like the Sedins, as you mentioned.
Zach Koivu starts away for Anaheim. He'll chip it in, chasing himself. He's with Daniel Winnick and Andrew Cogliano. Winnick was the guy that prevented the goal by Taylor Hall. Cogliano at the point. Whitney tried to get it out. Woodland is there to keep it in, but Corey Potter quickly gets it. His pass broken up by Winnick, and here comes Koivu right down the middle. Cogliano cross ice for Winnick. He was tied up nicely there by Mike Brown, and Ryan Smith gets knocked down, and he and Beauchemin come together. Ducks bring it right back in. Cogliano trying to stay on side and does as Winnick throws it towards the net, blocked by Juston Sholts. Now Darryl Steckel will give it to Winnick. Winnick plays it all the way back to the point. Beauchemin fires it off the end boards and hits the net. And it's picked up there by Nick Schultz. He'll get it to Brown, and Brown will bounce it out to center. 8 minutes, 38 seconds to go here in the first period. Edom stopped by Juston Sholts. Ryan Allen shoots it in, and Abby Bullen's going to stop it there. He'll play it off the glass, hits a stanchion. That was the Anton Leiter. He'll let it to Timo Harnakainen. Edom given a bump there by Juston Sholts. Carries on. Now to Steckel. David Steckel walking in with that big reach. 6'6". Couldn't get around there right at the side of the net. The former Oiler Radek Dvorak get David Steckel. Edom given a bump there by Juston Sholts. Carries on. Now to Steckel. David Steckel walking in with that big reach. 6'6". Couldn't get around there right at the side of the net. Edom given a bump there by
It's over to Dvorak, who's Dvorak alone. Back tap into the game week side of the net.
It's his 4th goal of the year. Get the assist for Steckel, his 5th, and for Allen, get his 7th on the season. The Oilers down by a pair. Allen get his 7th on the season. The Oilers down by a pair. He's trying to keep it in, and the whistle goes, and we have got a penalty coming up. And it's going to be Van Lovejoy headed to the box when we come back. Oilers gets 2-1.
Ben Lovejoy in the penalty box, giving Edmonton a chance to try and cut the current lead on the part of Anaheim. It's time now to play Tell Us Fan Right, Fan Wrong Trivia. The future is friendly. Tonight's question: in the 1997-98 season, the Oilers had their most shutouts. How many did they have? Was it 12, 3, 10, or 8? Enter for your chance to win an Optic TV and Samsung prize package valued at $13,000 or a 32-inch Samsung HD TV. All you have to do is text Oilers to 333-777 or visit TELUS.com/hockey. For every completed entry, TELUS will donate $1 to Heroes Hockey, helping at-risk youth play Canada's game.
Victor Bostien with 3 shutouts on the season. He is 8th in the league in shutouts. He has faced just 3 Oilers shots, but this is the first power play for the Oilers. They're trying to get their first goal against Anaheim this year. They're 0 for 4 on Sunday. They are 0 for 7 in the season series. And Louis, you talked about it before, about how the power play, although it's ranked 5th, it does have some work to do down the stretch before the final game on Saturday.
Yeah, and it hasn't been real strong. Only one power play goal in their last 6. And, 0 for 4 last night versus Anaheim. And didn't generate not only a power play goal, but that chemistry and that
short-handed. Fires a shot wide. The
momentum going forward is what I was going to say. And a great chance there by Edom with speed. And you just saw a taste of it there, how fast that kid is.
The Ducks with 4 shorthanded goals on the season. Taylor Hall being watched by Andrew Cogliano. Cogliano forces Hall outside the blue line. He'll give it to Gagne and keep going. Gagne back for Whitney at the point. He gets checked by Cogliano, manages to get it by him though. And now Jordan Eberle has to deal with Tony Ludman. Gagne spins, gives it to Eberle. Back to the point, Whitney waiting for it there. Eberle moves to the middle. Eberle with a wrist shot. And up the shoulder of Moss. That puck bounces outside the line. 40 seconds left to go in the penalty to Ben Lovejoy. Oilers want to make a change to give Nick Bonino a chance to fire the puck down the ice. Louis, you're seeing an aggressive penalty kill for a team that is ranked 21st on the road. The Anaheim Ducks.
Very aggressive. This is really similar to the old school penalty kill. Anaheim always a very effective penalty killing team. They're big, they're physical, they like to converge.
Markov. Stick of Fowler prevents him from getting a shot away. Battle along the wall. All waiting for it to come free. Now he can't keep it in as Radek Dvorak will send it down the ice.
As you mentioned, for Bruce Boudreau trying to find ways to improve during the end of the season here on a terrific year and get better heading into the playoffs. Only 3 power play goals in their last 11 games played again. So the penalty killing, although it struggled earlier in the season on the road, has started to really dial in at the perfect time.
Well, they kept the Oilers to just 1 shot on that power play. 2-0 the Ducks.
2-1 Oilers.
Right here.
It's game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, this Monday, Anaheim taking on Edmonton. Last Monday, they took on the task of trying to look good away from the ice. The 6th annual Anaheim Ducks fashion show. It involved a number of players who were alongside their wives, but it also involved a number of children who modeled some sharp-looking outfits. The Ducks, along with the kids, raised nearly $500,000 for a children's hospital in Southern California.
Great stuff. Mazeloski looked like Don Johnson.
Series at 4 games tonight.
Looks good on you.
Good stuff.
Jones throws it towards the net, steered aside by Foss. The 5th shot for the Oilers in this period. We've got just over 5 minutes to go. The Ducks have 2 goals on 10 shots. Oilers have 2 goals.
Seven shots.
Molesky plays it off net. Perry couldn't get to it, but gets left hand. Now it squirts free, and Jones plays it to the middle and is picked up by Sean Horkoff. He's got Petrie with him along with Smithson. Petrie trying to center it when off the stick of Button. Ryan Allen has it hop over his stick. He gets knocked down by Sean Horkoff. Allen will pick it up. Get it to Perry. He'll flip it down into Oiler territory as the Ducks want to make a change. The Ducks with an opportunity. A regulation win will clinch. In fact, any point will clinch the Pacific Division for the Anaheim Ducks. It'll be their first since 2007. Remember what happened in 2007. We were drinking champagne with Lord Stanley. So they may, if they win here tonight, wrap up that division, but they still have not wrapped up the 2nd seed. They've got a huge game against Vancouver on Thursday. In Vancouver, the Canucks taking on the Blackhawks tonight. The Oilers want to prevent all that from happening. The one thing you mentioned in your keys to the game, prevent that, get that split. You do not want a team celebrating a division championship on your ice.
On turf, and especially just prior right down the stretch here, the Edmonton Oilers eliminated from playoff contention last night with that loss to Anaheim, but you don't see this too often. The 2 games back-to-back against the same team, so a chance to get right back after it and try and redeem yourself. They fall behind 2-0 early in this one on some good play by Anaheim and some urgency shown by the Anaheim Ducks early in this game that they haven't shown as of late, so they're dialing things in at the right time. But for Edmonton, a lot of game left here and try to get back into it.
Koivu stopped by Abby Bolin. He was right on the doorstep. Abby Bolin stared him down and keeps it a 2-0 game. Cogliano with it now. Cogliano, Winnick, and Koivu putting on the pressure. Zaku Koivu to Cogliano, and another save by Abby Bolin. Botman trying to keep it in for Cogliano. And it's picked up now by Yakupov, and as the Ducks change, Yakupov winds up from his own zone. Dale Yakupov is going to have to deal with Cam Fowler. Fowler sends it around the boards. Taylor Hall on the intercept. Hall throws it towards the net. There's Yakupov. Lost the save. Hall plays it back to the point. Justin to net. Pass down low was intercepted by Radek Dvorak. He quickly got it out to Edom. Steckel joins a glove save by Abby Bolin. No rebound for David. Steckel joins a glove save by Abby Bolin. No rebound for David Steckel.
This is the legendary stubby pencil, one of many used to win a total of $7 million last year. Amazing.
Get your game on with Tools.
Well, time to play Safeway's $1 million score. Oh, look how cute. Score and win. If any Oilers player scores 5 goals in tonight's game, John Carlson of Sherwood Park could win $1 million. Shop and swipe at Safeway, and you could be our next lucky winner right here on Sportsnet West.
Ken Wilson used to do.
If any Oilers player scores 5 goals in tonight's game, John Carlson of Sherwood Park could win $1 million. Shop and swipe at Safeway, and you could be our next lucky winner right here on Sportsnet West.
Ken Wilson used to do the games in St. Louis. The games that he did, he was score. Dumped in by Edom, racing after Dvorak. And he negates the icing in a race with Nick Schultz. Schultz then takes down Dvorak, and Juston Sholts has the puck. Juston Sholts, #1 among rookie defensemen in points this season. Hall across the blue line. Drop pass for Gagne. Gagne, he fired that wide. The Oilers D were making changes. Petrie and Schmid out there now. Hall. He'll play it back to Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie on a 3-game point streak. Picked up an assist in that game last night. The Oilers 2-3-1 in the second half of back-to-back games. They'll have one more back-to-back. Jones with it now. He'll play it back up top for Petrie. Petrie steps into a shot, then that one was blocked and broke the stick of Beauchemin. Bang away at it in front. A penalty on the way. And the Oilers will get bang away at it in front.
And then we have a penalty shot.
And the Oilers will get an opportunity to go back on the power play. And the Oilers will get an opportunity to go back on the power play with 1:24 left to go in the period.
It's going to be an interference call right Smith and good job. It's going to be an interference call right in front of the net. Nobody shot. Was battling with Jared Smith. Let's see.
Here's Juston Sholts looking for a goal. Where is he? Oh, yes, he scores! Juston Sholts on the penalty shot. He punched his second goal of the night. It's 3-1 Oilers.
Left to go in the period.
It's going to be an interference.
1:22 left to go in the period.
It's called right in front of the net as Beauchemin was battling with Jared Smith. And good job by Edmonton in this line to create some energy and get a puck in deep. And for Petrie gets that blast through and then a little chip. And for Smith, he had a couple of whacks at that loose puck and a good couple saves by Fast.
to keep it out. Francois Beauchemin playing with a broken stick.
Gets the assist.
Shot broke his stick.
Second part of the playoffs of the series.
Right there, the stick broke the Beauchemin. Okay, so it wasn't interference. Interference with a broken stick.
Yeah, you can see him with the stick. The push ahead, he got caught. The Oilers with a great chance here late in the period. Their second chance. Ball with it now. He and Eberle played give and go. And we got an offside call.
So obviously a dangerous situation when you're playing the broken stick. And most players understand this. You know, for Beauchemin, you can see as he leaned down and diving in the process, the stick was broken. And he did like Gordon right afterwards, once he recognized, hey, there's no blade at the end of this thing. But he gets caught, so it was a pretty, you know, that was on the line, that call for playing with a broken stick, because he was in the process of moving forward. He dropped it right away, but you know, allow somebody to have that instrument in their hand after their blade breaks off. Sharp edge.
Great sharp edge. Atmosphere here in the Rexall Place. Juston Sholts, penalty shot, goal.
Luka pins it against the boards. Yakupov in support. Tries it for Hall. Hall looking for Horkoff in front. Horkoff trying to create space. Hard pass for Juston Sholts. Sholts will play it back up top. Corey Potter goes to Yakupov. Yakupov snaps it. That one hit the side of the net. Horkoff's got it. 5 seconds to go. Yakupov will get the last shot with his block here. Juston Sholts on the side of the net.
3-1 Oilers in the first period of game 4.
36 seconds of power play time in the second period gets underway. 2-0 is the score. It was the
Juston Sholts
coming up after the break. The panel's going to discuss what the Oilers have to do to get themselves back into the postseason next year.
We'll take your shot off the ice and submit your best Oilers-themed photograph during the 2012-13 season for Oilers Snapshots presented by Nikon and McBain Camera. Every Thursday, a photo finalist will be selected, and at the end of the month, the finalists will battle for top shot by the way of fan votes. This month, the winner will snag an orange Nikon AW100 camera, courtesy of Nikon and McBain Camera. Visit Edmonton Oilers on Facebook to submit your photo today. Scoring with the first goal.
Not the picture?
No. You look pretty good, eh, for a couple of old guys.
Yeah, not bad.
Nail Yakupov he's looked good as of late, but it is a process. And how do you feel about the way it's going tonight and most recently?
Well, Ralph Kruger said this morning that one of the two guys, Yakupov and Juston Sholts, they were going to play those guys all year long, come heck or high water. They were going to learn with them. They were going to stick with them. And that's what they're doing tonight. Yakupov, by and large, has been very good. I'm going to show you a mistake tonight that he should never make again in his career. It's a tough angle, so watch up top of the blue line. Here's what...
And for the first goal, Radek and still with a little time on that penalty.
1990 players are shamed. 3 seasons with Edmonton. He played for 8 games in Dvorak. You'll remember the Oilers draft. He's been a Stanley Cup champ. They got...
If I can, real quick, can I see Florida, Edmonton, New York?
First period scoring summary brought to you by Worley Parsons. Scoring summary. All country. Visit WorleyParsons.com/careers and apply today.
Brian Getzlaff with the first goal. Radek Dvorak, as the boys were talking about, gets his third goal in his second game against the Oilers. He scored both goals back after playing with a broken stick.
36 seconds of power play time for the Oilers. Their second power play time for the Oilers. Ryan Whitney hammers it in. High on the glass. Jordan Eberle going after it out there with Taylor Hall and Sam Gagner. Juston Sholts. Ryan Whitney on the point. Juston Sholts with a shot. And that's blocked by Daniel Winnick. Koivu. Here's Juston Sholts with a shot. Sholts. Look for answering that one. Blocked by Daniel Winnick. Koivu. Slowly across the blue line. Gets it in deep. And then he's going to head to the bench. Just 7 seconds left to go with a penalty to Beauchemin. Hall can for one last rush. Just 6 scores.
It's 4-0. And the goal was laid down.
Testelesky fires a shot.
In here to get a puck through to the net, and the goal is offside. It was a valiant effort, a couple early opportunities to cross and make a block, but when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't. And they don't capitalize on the cross and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't. And they don't capitalize to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals,
The save.
well, a couple early opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't. And they don't get opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. A puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block.
Here's the call.
But through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel. Opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks.
Juston Sholts. Back to the point it comes. Ryan Whitney throws it towards the net. That's blocked by Getzlaf. Just as Beauchemin comes out of the box. Getzlaf. 1 goal. Got it started. 6:13 into this contest. Bolesky fires a shot right on Happy Bullen. And he will make the save.
Well, a couple early opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't. And they don't capitalize on their second make a block. But
And he is 6:13 into this contest. Bolesky fires a shot right on Happy Bullen. And he will make the save.
well, a couple early opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't.
So the Oilers not able to get it through to Fox.
Get it through the
You know, that all goes into that urgency we talked about. The fact that they have to start playing a little bit more desperate hockey, although they know they're going to the playoffs. They're trying to seal that Pacific Division title. They're trying to still maintain that second position in the West. And for Anaheim, they played desperate tonight. There's no question about that. They've been the hungrier team throughout the first 20 minutes and into this second period. That diving block by Daniel Winnick says it all.
Boswich the save, and he'll hang on to it. Gino.
The Amway Canadian Soccer Championship gets underway on Wednesday with a doubleheader of first-leg matchups. First at 5:30 p.m. Mountain, the Montreal Impact visit Toronto FC on Sportsnet West, Pacific East, and Ontario. Then at 7:30 p.m. Mountain here in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium, the Vancouver Whitecaps visit FC Edmonton, also on Sportsnet West, Pacific East, and Ontario. And we wish Colin Miller and the Eddies good luck in that match.
Did you know they were called the Eddies?
And let's go on this chance.
Hartikainen's behind the net. He's with Yakupov
Not the
and
Edmonton,
Lander.
the Houston Oilers. They're a
Palmieri
football team.
bounces it off the boards, trying to get by Potter. He does. Now he'll center it. Good defensive play there by Nick Schultz. The puck was headed to the stick of the Finnish Flash. Yakupov. Of the Finnish Flash. Yakupov. Corey Potter. Flips it in, going after it. It's Hartikainen. Sharp angle shot. Boston save. Ends up in the corner. Couple of Finns going at it. Sami Vatanen and Hartikainen there. And then Bonino got involved. Here's Yakupov. Checked by Palmieri. And Vatanen will give it to Solani. Solani eases it into a territory where he thought that Palmieri could catch up to him. Anton Lander. 17:40 to go in this second period. The Ducks trying to clinch the Pacific Division. The Oilers trying to prevent that from happening on home ice.
We'll try to see
Steckel at 4 games. Dvorak long shot, and there's Happy Bullen to hang on to it. We'll get the whistle. Dvorak long shot, and there's Happy Bullen to hang on to it. We'll get the whistle.
Took a little bit of a dive on
Tom Gagne, in order to have the first line, what they got to be second line. Both have bad plus minuses. Both haven't had the start they wanted. The two-way game that their team needs them to play tonight. It'll be a big challenge for both. New line mate.
In his career, he's 31st time that he
Happy Boone's faced teams like that many, many times throughout his career.
31st time that he has taken on the Anaheim Ducks in his career. He's 12-17-1. As for Belanger, got by him and picked up by Beauchemin. He'll play it off the boards. Took a weird hop, but it comes to Steckel. It's Steckel, Dvorak, and Edom out there now. Steckel plays it off the boards, and Dvorak to Steckel. It's but he got there out there now. Steckel plays it off the boards, and Dvorak
scores. Steckel.
But he got there
His first playoff goal, and it's at 3-1.
A little bit too hurried into the offensive zone there too. But today in history, look at this for Nikolai Happy-Boulin. Recorded his first playoff shutout in Phoenix. Team history as the Coyotes beat the Anaheim Ducks 2-1. So he's had some good success against this team, the Anaheim Ducks, and it was his first career shutout as well. So Phoenix team history as the Coyotes beat the Anaheim Ducks 2-1. So he's had some good success against in Phoenix team history. This for Nikolai Happy-Boulin, Ducks, and it was his first career shutout as well. So playoff win.
1997. Where were you in 1997?
Nikolai Happy-Boulin.
Where was I? Tampa Bay.
There you go. Pretty tough team down in Tampa Bay.
Really tough team. Not
Career
very good.
playoff shutouts. 1987 and 2012.
We get Vinny LeCavalier.
There you go. See, you did your part.
Hey, you know what?
You never got a ring
help
though.
it any way you can. They eventually won a cup 10 years later. So we're not quite 10 years later, but 2004. It did pay off eventually.
Bolesky flips it down the ice. Jeff Petrie will go back and pick it up. He's being watched by Ryan Getzlaff. As for Everly, nice little tip to Gagne. Gagne goes cross-ice for Hall. Hall looking for Everly, and there's another sliding block. This one turned in by Cam Fowler. Hall with it again. Hall stepping into it. Potter, big shot. Gagne the rebound, trying to bounce it in is Everly as well. Ends up behind the net. Jordan Everly with it. Here's Hall snapping his shot. That went off Getzlaff. Harris leaves it around the boards. This line is desperate to try and get it out as the Oilers are putting on all kinds of pressure. And Lovejoy to the corner it goes. Corey Perry will wait for it there. He plays it along the boards. Bolesky can't get it by Everly. Cam Fowler right to the middle, and Lovejoy will get it out for the pass to Bolesky, but a good shift to that top line.
And creating a little chaos down low and a real good collapse by Anaheim. You saw 5 bodies around the blue paint looking to protect after they lost sight of where that puck was. Victor Fast on the front with a real good save there on Potter and a blast that got through, and then Everly on the doorstep almost had it to the side, but some good sequences there for Edmonton, and that top line generating some chances.
Cogliano. And Bachman steps into a shot, and a good save by Happy-Boulin. The rebound went straight up in the air. Cogliano behind the net. Andrew Cogliano. He and Hall both with their skating legs tonight. Cogliano on it again, gets surrounded by blue shirts. Back to Brian Allen. He'll play it off the end boards, but it's picked up there by Juston Sholts. Bachman keeps it in. Now it comes loose, and Sean Horkoff will pick it up. Allen, that long reach of his, but it comes to Jones. Jones with Horkoff catching up. Let that shot go, and he whistled it wide. Ryan Whitney on the far side. Horkoff behind the net. Horkoff sight in front. He was trying to get it to Anton Lander. Potter back to the point. Ryan Whitney with a shot. Again, blocked before it could get through this time. Daniel Winnick got a piece of it. Potter on the other side. Yakubov, great pass to Jones. Jones with a shot, and that was blocked by Bachman. And Bachman will send it down the ice, and it goes right on to Nikolai Happy-Boulin.
Good follow-up shift by this line for Edmonton. The top line goes out, gets a couple of real high-quality chances, and then this line comes out and creates a couple of their own with good play down low, good puck retrieval in the offensive zone. As the first chance happens, jumping on that puck quickly and setting up another good opportunity for Jones in the slot.
Now it is Anton Lander's turn, along with Hardakainen and Yakubov. Lander, he'll bring it in. Well, he's going to be turned away by Solani. Waits for Yakubov to get on side, and then takes a big hit there from Kyle Palmieri, and Palmieri sends it down the ice. We have seen some big hits in this hockey game. Beauchemin turned in the first one on Hardakainen. Now Hardakainen driving wide on Beauchemin, right through the blue paint. Yakubov was all tied up there by Tony Ludman. And Ludman runs into Hardakainen. They spin around. Yakubov steals the puck. Nail Yakubov. Given a bump by Ludman. Stays with it. absorbs punishment. The puck does finally come free for Palmieri, but he can't get it by Juston Sholts. Sholts will give it right back to Yakupov. There, snapping a shot, and Tony Lutman was there, and that snapped his stick. He didn't play with it, though. Juston Sholts being hounded by David Steckel. Leaves it for Ladislav Schmid. 15-12, the shots on goal in favor of the Ducks. They outshot the Oilers 13-9 in that first period. Bolesky can't control it at the blue line. Mike Brown going after it. All kinds of energy from Mike Brown with Ryan Smith and Eric Belanger. Cam Fowler spins to try and get away from Brown. Has been relentless on that forecheck. Smith pushes it to Brown. He'll backhand it in. Go after it himself. Kind of got squeezed off on that play by Ben Lovejoy. Good job by Belanger to keep it in right for Smith. Just got by him. Schmid with it now. Schmid to Smith. Ryan Smith leaves it in the corner for Belanger. Belanger for Brown. Smith with a shot, and that is stopped by Foss. Belanger plays it back to the point. Schmid there. He'll give it to Petrie on the near side. Jeff Petrie back to Schmid. Schmid had traffic in front. Off the inboards it goes, and Belanger almost put it home. Belanger with Smith and Brown. Great shift for this line as well, as the Oilers have come to life in this second period. Back the other way, though. Here comes Bolesky. Bolesky moving in. A wrist shot. Trying to go short side. It was a blocker saved by Javi Bulin. Getzlaf, Perry, and Bolesky, the forward line. Getzlaf on the intercept, and that gets deflected up into the netting, and we get a whistle. It's Telus Oilers hockey from Rexall Place, and it's right here on Sportsnet.
Kevin, we talked a lot about Francois Beauchemin in these two games that Edmonton has matched up in succession, and what a year he's having. You look at the numbers that he's played along with Sheldon Souray, who typically has been playing with Beauchemin out in the 3 games that Edmonton's played against Anaheim this year, but the numbers don't lie. Plus 20 for Beauchemin, plus 23 for Sheldon Souray, and 7 and 5 goals. So both of these guys producing 2 big bodies that can play that physical game, as well as you mentioned, a couple big hits by Beauchemin in this one tonight.
And for Sheldon Souray, the first of a 3-year deal he signed with the Anaheim Ducks. Hall to Everly. Gets by him. Corey Potter is there. He'll get it back for Everly. Quickly to Gagne. Now to Hall. Hall, Everly, wrist shot, and that was blocked by Tony Lutman. All the way back to Nick Schultz at the point. But Louis, we've talked about follow-up shifts for the Oilers, and we're seeing it here in the second period as they have taken the momentum.
Yeah, really built on shifts, and it's been nice to see lines come out after a good hard shift. And it was the top line, this line here, that got things going for Edmonton. And then a good follow-up shift, and so on and so forth. They've been able to generate some good chances, get a puck into the offensive zone. Great defending by the Anaheim Ducks. It's been very difficult for Edmonton to get the real high-quality shots through. But you start splitting that amount of time in the offensive zone, usually it leads to something good. And Edmonton's hoping that's the case, down 2-0.
And the Oilers able to make a change and retain possession as Hardakainen is out there now. Radek Dvorak inside his own blue line decides to skate it out. He will dump it in. The Ducks are going to make a change as Ryan Whitney goes back to get it. Whitney did not dress the last 3 games. This is his 34th game of the season. Hardakainen flips it in. Anton Lander. Turn to the Jets. Brian Allen, I should say, did not know where that puck was. I didn't know what his name was. Juston Sholts being counted there by Koivu. Anton Lander to a flying nail. Yakupov. Yakupov stops his shot. Brian Allen prevented him from getting on the net. Winnick sends it around the boards. Brian Allen will get to it first. Allen takes a look, feeds it to Koivu to the middle, and it was just out of the reach of Daniel Winnick. And then at the end of the shift, Hardakainen pushes it right back into the Duck zone. Oilers will play Chicago on Wednesday, then go to Minnesota and Vancouver for back-to-back games Friday. And pushes it right back into the Duck zone. Oilers will play Chicago on Wednesday, then go to Minnesota and Vancouver for back-to-back games Friday in Minnesota, Saturday here against Vancouver. Will be on Wednesday. Speaking of Vancouver, that's where the Ducks will be next on Thursday. Then they're going to finish up Saturday. They're at the Oilers Roy. 17 off the final. Quick shot by Palmieri, and that one whistled wide. And he comes together with Jeff Petrie, gets the puck, gets another shot. Javi Bulin makes 2 saves on number 51, and 51 throws a couple of hits on Jeff Petrie. So not a bad sequence for Kyle Palmieri. 2 hits, 2 shots.
Nice shift, too, and a good shot the first one. I didn't think he had enough time to get that one time away, but he got it through. Didn't miss by much.
Jones is stopped by Fowler. And it's picked up now by Solani. Quickly to Fowler. Fowler gets a shot away, but it went off the stick of Nick Schultz. Ryan Jones takes a look, sees no ducks around him as they're making a change. Belanger plays it off the boards. Too far for Ryan Smith. Ryan Getzlaf, the forward line now. Perry from the corner, drops it for Getzlaf. Getzlaf taking his time, trying to feed it back to Perry. Didn't make it through. Belanger prevented that. Then Eric Belanger has the puck. Belanger right up the middle for Swift, and that was almost disastrous as Beauchemin had him in the sights. Getzlaf plays it to the middle. Perry trying to give it back to him, spun him around. Well, we saw that yesterday with Hall as well, as he almost got clocked by Tony Ludman. And Ryan Smith almost got his head taken off by Francois Beauchemin.
Good point you make there, Kevin. I'll tell you what, it's good that the game has changed in that regard. Because Francois Beauchemin 7-8 years ago, he would have definitely taken Ryan Smith's head off, and it would have been a different outcome. But a good job by him not to. And he tries to go body and misses just a little bit.
Edom. He felt the body of Mike Brown there. Brown angry as Getzlaf cuts for the net. Here's Getzlaf. Quick shot by Edom, and that one missed. Getzlaf retrieves the puck. Ryan Getzlaf throws it behind the net. Corey Perry waiting for it. And Getzlaf retrieves the puck. And Perry fins off. Petrie, the shot goes wide as Edom was there. Now some bad blood at the end of the last game starting to spill over right now. Off the end boards again. Abby Bullen plays it behind the net. David Steckel will pick it up, and now the pressure is being applied by the Ducks. Steckel with Dvorak and Edom. Dvorak in front, couldn't get a shot away, and Taylor Hall has got it. Taylor Hall across center line, now the blue line, and chip it in. He and Lovejoy come together behind the net, and it is Hall who goes down. Juston Sholts keeps it in. Lovejoy will pick it up on the far side. He'll get to center. And offside is the call at the line. Francois Beauchemin. This could have been a huge hit on Ryan Smith. Smith takes the number and gets right back.
Four-year commitment to the Edmonton Oilers, but he made a much bigger commitment this past summer. Schmid married a young lady named Ashley from Edmonton. They were married in Prague. A beautiful day, 37 degrees. A great moment for both families, including Schmid's father. And the toughest part of the day for the Oilers, considering his nationality, was for him to keep his emotions in check.
Contest. Pulaski fires a shot right on Javi Bullen, and he will make the save.
Well, a couple early opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, you have to make sure those pucks are getting through to the bodies that are standing in front. It doesn't, and they don't capitalize on the. For Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a.
Javi Bullen, and he will make the save.
Well, a couple early opportunities for Edmonton here to get a puck through to the net, and one was a valiant effort by Daniel Winnick to dive across and make a block. But when you're down by 2 goals, and they don't capitalize on
Dean and they're making it happen.
Do a better job of trying to get those shots through, but when you've got a team as determined as Anaheim is tonight to not allow that to happen, it's been pretty impressive to watch them dive in front of pucks with a 2-0 lead.
What the Rangers did last year in the playoffs.
I remember the Los Angeles Kings did. They played a very similar style, very collapsed in the defensive zone, kept things to the perimeter, and won the Stanley Cup. So Anaheim, to Pacific Division foes, have taken note of that, no question about it.
Sam Gagne tripped up, no call. No call. The reaction from
Woodley's won the Stanley Cup last year.
Winnick with Cogliano trying to get it over to him, and there's a
Stanley Cup.
Offensive play by Juston Sholts. As he slid across and prevented that pass from getting to Andrew Cogliano. Hall will dump it in. Picked up there by Brian Allen. Just over 6 minutes to go in the second period. 17-13 the shots in favor of the Ducks. In a 2-0 game, all the offense came in the first period. Centered out in front by Bonino, but it was picked off by Anton Lander. Yakupov takes it off his skate, gets the puck to settle down. And he saw big Brian Allen bearing down on it. Palmieri has Anton Lander to deal with. Gets it to Allen. Allen will try and play it off the boards to Solani. The puck sits inside the blue paint. Good job by Hardikainen to get to Anton Lander. There's a shot up high, and Foss makes the save with Yakupov looking for the rebound. We're at Rexall Place.
We're at Rexall Place.
Looking for
in the
the
Stanley
rebound.
Cup playoffs.
We're at Rexall Place.
Well, shop and swipe your club card at Safeway today, and you could be our next lucky winner. Lots of winners in the stands. It looks like this evening, watch future Sportsnet telecasts. You could win an all-inclusive trip for two to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, courtesy of redtag.ca. Not so fast, guys. Oh, go ahead.
And for Victor Fast, as we talked about a little bit earlier on, his first 8 games in the National Hockey League, 30-year-old rookie, undrafted, played the last 4 years over in Sweden, was a free agent signing by the Anaheim Ducks, and they quickly, after signing to that one-year deal, signed to a multi-year extension after his amazing start.
The third time in all time that someone has come out of the gate that quickly. Speaking of coming out of the gate quickly, the Anaheim Ducks went 22-3-4 to start the season, and then lost 4 in a row. Got to come back to earth at some point.
Terrific start by them. You know, when you look at how they started, very similar to the start they had back in 2007 when they won the Stanley Cup. So history does have a tendency of repeating itself. With a team for sure, with the makeup that they have, that would be a contender this year.
Team that did not make the playoffs last year. Fowler sends it around the board. Matt Molesky waiting for it, and then Ryan Jones with a big hit on the net. And that's what Ryan Jones can bring to the party. John Horkoff with it. He'll give it to Smithson. Flip it down the ice, ended up going into the bench. He'll give it to Smithson. Flip it down the ice, ended up going into the bench.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
Well, good hit here by Ryan Jones and a double team as Smithson comes in, acts as the decoy, and Jones comes in and finishes hard on Cam Fowler, shoulder to shoulder. So as you mentioned, decoy, and Jones comes in and finishes hard on Cam Fowler, shoulder to shoulder. So as you mentioned, Kevin, no love lost between these two teams, and it kind of boiled over a little bit at the end of the game last night. And when you play a team right away again, like in a situation here, they're going to not like each other a little bit more the next day.
Ryan Smith and Sammy Botman came together. Botman lost his
goal scorer last year in the playoffs.
Getting a little nasty down there.
Well, Ryan Jones had 5 hits in the game last night, so you know he was taking numbers. And Emerson Edom out there now, and he's a big body. Yeah, did he think he was getting a penalty?
Was he looking for the helmet? Maybe he didn't know what it was. I'm not sure, but you're right. Bodies are flying around out there for Ralph Kruger. Decides to do a little lineup change here and keep momentum going. I mean, you know, both of these teams are skating teams, no question about that. And for Anaheim, they like to come out and play that physical brand of hockey, and Edmonton responded nicely here in the second period.
Edom pushes it past Juston Sholts. Everly, Hall, and Gagne out there now. Dvorak to Steckel, just out of his reach. Whitney for Juston Sholts. He couldn't catch up to it. Edom's got it now. Edom to Dvorak for that one. Fires over top of the net. Chopped at by Steckel. 350. A little here in the second period. Juston Sholts
And the Stanley Cup
is flanked by Tony Lubman. Everly takes a bump from Steckel. Boseman with the puck in his skates. David Steckel lays it high and down the ice slowly. And that will allow the Ducks to make a change. Steckel must have played a little curling in his day. That was a perfect weight. There's Juston Sholts. He'll flip it in, going to head off. Hardakainen racing after it. Boseman head on the swivel. That comes out to center. Well, the chances were fast and furious, Louis, in that first period, but the second period, again, we're getting that playoff mode as things are tightening up. Yakupov, knocked the weekend wide. Anton Lander centers for Hardakainen. He was checked by Winnick. And now it comes to Saku Koivu. Koivu to Cogliano. Cogliano, drop pass for Koivu. Koivu cutting to the middle, going down, and he just missed Winnick.
This line here has been a great line for the Ducks this season. It's been reunited back together here with some bodies coming back into the lineup for Bruce Boudreau. Decided to put Cogliano back with Winnick and Koivu. And at the start of the year, this line was red hot. And Daniel Winnick, you know, was the guy that was scoring all the goals early on. But defensively, they're a solid line. Offensively, they produce as well. and they're a tough line to play against. So I wouldn't be surprised if this line combination stays together for the duration and into the playoffs for Anaheim, because they've been that good.
Winnick started off hot. He's got 6 goals, but he hasn't gotten one in his last 22 games. Jones to an open wing. And Lovejoy will track it down. He's got Horkoff on him, and here is Jones looking for the captain. Brings it in against Ben Lovejoy. Stops up, goes cross ice. Jones with it now. Jones looking for Smithson, and the pass was behind him. Ryan Jones, Jared Smithson, and Sean Horkoff. Opportunity in front. Couple of chances for Palmieri. He is turned aside by Nikolai Habibulin. Back the other way, Ryan Smith moving in. Ryan Smith with a shot, and it goes just wide. Smith behind the net, gets tied up there by Lovejoy. And a penalty coming up to Ben Lovejoy for interference. And the Oilers will get their third power play in the second period.
This is a replica of the remote that inspired the big win. The original was tragically lost in a carriage.
Get your game on with Pools.
It's a holding call, Lou. Correct. Real good shift by this line through Ryan Jones in the offensive zone. Has a chance, gets back there. A nice pass right up the ice on the stretch to Ryan Smith. And as he keeps his feet moving, trying to get around Lovejoy, he reaches in a little too hard, holds on to him. And that's exactly what he'll go to the box for 2-4 is a hold on Ryan Smith.
Third power play for the Oilers. Did not get a shot the last time. Everly with it right now. Harder that big body is in front. Gagne back to Whitney. Whitney delivers to Gagne. Gagne looks in front for Harder-Kinen. A loose puck is picked up by David Steckel and sent the length of the ice. 1:10 to go in the period as Whitney goes back and gets it.
2 or 3 short little passes in sequence for Edmonton to set that up, kind of manipulate the puck a little bit, get it to the area they want. It wasn't a hard shot by Gagne. Just kind of threaded it down into the traffic, and 2 bodies standing in front had a good chance at it. In our hall next day.
Ryan Smith and Sammy Smithman came together. Bachman lost his helmet.
51 seconds left.
He gets a little nasty down there. Well, Ryan Jones had 5 hits in the game last night, so you know he was taking numbers. And Edison Edom out there now, and he's going but 5 hits in the game last night, so you know he was taking numbers. And Edison Edom out there now, and numbers. And Ryan Smith and Sammy Bachman came together. Bachman lost his helmet.
Period number 1, but really the way he played that game, he was fighting the puck.
He gets a little nasty down there. Well, Ryan Jones had 5 hits in the game last night, so you know he was taking numbers. And
regrouping the last couple days, knowing he's going to get started.
Emerson Edom out there now, and where's he going, buddy? Yeah, he didn't think he was able to last night, so you know he was taking numbers. And the game last week, he gets a little nasty. His helmet. Sammy Bachman came together. Bachman lost his helmet. He gets a little.
On Clover. He'll go to the box. Like to the pass a little quicker than you want to make it.
Connor. Jack. Connor makes the save, and he had Benito run. And the fourth on a second late.
That's an aggressive pressure by Anaheim that forces those passes a little quicker than you want to make it.
Connor. Jack. Box this.
That's an aggressive pressure by Anaheim that forces.
Jack. Box the save, and he had Benito running into him. There's a shot, and that one is blocked by Benito.
In this period is on.
And then the third period is
Second period by the Ducks.
The Oilers got 26 seconds to try to play time.
In a much better second period as they come out and weather the storm of Anaheim, really start getting pucks in deep and establishing cycles of their own in the offensive zone. They don't get one by Victor Fast, but they do generate some chances. And a much better middle frame for Edmonton. Middle frame.
Oh, when we come back after the break, the panel is going to discuss the Western Conference and how they see it all shaken out.
Alberta Alberta capital is where we are this evening, but Calgary is not in Alberta. TELUS Flames hockey back on Sportsnet West in 24 hours. Calgary continues their 4-game trip in Nashville. 5:30 p.m. Mountain, that is tomorrow night. Then on Friday, it's TELUS Oilers hockey. At 5:30 p.m. Mountain, as Edmonton plays their final road game in St. Paul against the Minnesota Wild. That'll wrap up our TELUS Oilers hockey schedule for the against the 30 p.m. Mountain, as Edmonton plays their final road game in St. Paul against the Minnesota Wild. That'll wrap up our TELUS Oilers hockey schedule for the year, and we're expecting wrapping up what has happened at this point of this game. And I think fans, one thing they want to see is kind of effort and enthusiasm. And did you see more of that from the Oilers in period 2 compared to period 1?
Yeah, in period 2 compared to probably too many periods this year, Gino. You know, a fan just wants to get entertained. They pay a lot of money to get in here. And what the Oilers fell back on is something they want to see more of. The boards were rattling inside of Rexall, and some of the guys in white sweaters weren't real happy. Watch this one now. I think Boschman let Smitty off the hook here. But Smitty says, you know what? I had a hard enough time being the nail. I'm going to be the hammer here. He follows up with this hit. I think this is Mike Brown coming in here with one. And then you're going to see Schmid. Now watch what Perry does. Look at Perry. He's mad at an Oiler because the guy drilled him and he got a little upset about it. And that's what Oiler fan wants to see more of in this uniform.
And they definitely want to see it at home. What they also want to see is an improvement in the summer towards next year. What do you kind of want to see is an improvement in the summer towards next year. What do you kind of think you want to see, or how it might be done this summer on the part of the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, you know, Craig McTavish talked about some of the bold moves, and they got to bring a defenseman in here, and they need to make one or two major moves. But I think moves that could bring you the kind of shift that we just saw in that last segment on the visuals is what the Oilers need to do. It's not that hard to get some grit and some aggression into this lineup and to have more shifts like we saw. You can grab a third-line guy from Nashville. You can find a guy from a team like Boston or Philly that's cap challenged. You can find a guy that maybe gets the compliance buyout. The kind of players that the Edmonton Oilers have, Eberle, Hall, Nugent-Hopkins, Yakupov, they're hard to get. They take a long time to draft. But you can find the guy they need. They're not as far away, Oilers fans. Stick with it here. This is a team that can improve over the summer and can be a playoff team at this time next year.
All right, how do you feel about the work you've done this season?
You know, you and me came a long way since CJSR, didn't we?
Yeah, which is the University of Alberta radio station, which we used to work for free. So it's pretty close nowadays as well. Well done, Mark. Kevin and Louie, take it away.
And a crazy dream. Our scoring summary is brought to you by the Worley Parsons Ford. Hiring trades in oil country. Visit WorleyParsons.com/careers and apply today.
Well, scoring done in this one in the first period by Anaheim. Ryan Getzlaf with his 15th. Radek Dvorak, his 4th goal of the season with the Anaheim Ducks, only his 8th game of the year, and 3 against the Edmonton Oilers. No scoring in that second period. A better pushback by Edmonton. They're going to continue on the power play here as Ben Lovejoy still has some time on the clock on his holding penalty on Ryan Smith.
Guys, we're talking about physical play. The Oilers for the atmosphere. 17-15 through 40 minutes. And as Louis mentioned,
The third period is underway. The Oilers game 4 of the Stanley Cup second round.
Juston Sholts keeps it in at the line against Daniel Winnick. And injury movement, able to get that thing down the ice.
Series lead.
For the penalty to Ben Lovejoy.
I've seen Daniel Winnick knock about 5 pucks out of the air in this game tonight. He's been really good at just staying with the battle, and that second effort gets it out.
Here's Taylor Hall with a shot up high. Boss got a piece of it. Perry got a piece of the net. Took it off the boards.
Not a whole lot of time left in the power play, and they re-up the puck very quickly on the transition. Get Taylor Hall with speed down the left-hand side. And another good stick in a diving motion. And for Anaheim, they've been diving all over the place in this game tonight, blocking shots, getting a stick on a puck at the last second. That second effort, that urgency that we've seen throughout.
Boss got a piece of it. Perry got a piece of the net. Took it off the boards.
He's looking for the tip, loses track of where he is and where quick is.
On the left-hand
and then there's that little cross check there from Speed, and that is a tough one to take. To go down 5 on 3.
This game tonight,
reaching discipline for 48 hours.
The last second, and it's that second effort.
It's a tough line to get
Taylor
in
Hall
this
with
early
speed
once
in a
again.
diving motion. That's a tough call. They've been diving all over the place this game tonight. Blocking shots, getting a stick on a puck at the last second, and it's that second effort. Transition, get a whole lot of time left. Boss with the battle, and that second effort gets it out.
Here's Taylor Hall with a shot up high. Boss got a piece of it. Perry got a piece of the net, took it off the moorings.
Not a whole lot of time left in the power play, and they re-up the puck very quickly on the transition. Get Taylor Hall with speed down the left-hand side. And another good stick in a diving motion. And for Anaheim, they've been diving all over the place in this game tonight, blocking shots. Their first puck, they don't stay stationary with it.
They have limited the Oilers to just 2 shots with the man advantage, and the Oilers have had 3 power plays in this game. They are still looking for their first power play against the Ducks this season.
And it's just that committed effort to defense for Anaheim. You see a lot of times 5 bodies that collapse back in the defensive zone, keep things to the offside, but they don't.
Against the man advantage, and the Oilers have had 3 power plays in this game. They are still looking for their first power play against the Ducks this season.
And it's just that committed effort to defense for Anaheim. You see a lot of times 5 bodies that collapse back in the defensive zone, keep things to the offside, but they don't stay stationary. When they have a chance to attack, they're very aggressive.
Good win by Horkoff. Schmid behind the net it goes. Fowler picks it up there. Down Fowler to the middle for Corey Perry. Schmid was right on it. Good, took it off the moorings.
Good we've seen throughout.
In the first 40 minutes, they have limited the Oilers to just 2 shots with the man advantage, and the Oilers have had 3 power plays in this game. They are
48 hours. It's a tough line to get in this early once again.
That's a tough call at even strength, let alone when there's already a penalty been called.
It's allowed them to keep.
Here's Nicholas
limited.
Scores! Tie game for Anaheim.
To just 2 shots with the
Taylor
man
Solani
advantage. The Oilers have had 3 power plays in
gets
this
his
game. They are
first
still
playoff
looking for
goal.
their first power play. Shots with the man advantage, and the Oilers have had 3 power plays in this game. They are
come back from 3-1 down.
still looking for their first power play against the Ducks this season.
And it's just that committed effort to defense for Anaheim. You see a lot of times 5 bodies that collapse back in the defensive zone, keep things to the offside, but they don't stay stationary. When they have a chance to attack, they're very aggressive.
Good win by Horkoff. Schmid behind the net it goes. Fowler picks it up there. And Fowler to the middle for Corey Perry. Schmid was right on it.
Those 2 guys have had a battle.
Getzlaf pass intended for Leslie was picked off, and here's Getzlaf picking it up. And Petrie prevented that one from getting over to Perry. Was ready for the one-timer.
Good stick.
Smithson. Outlet pass intended for Horkoff. Just out of his reach at the end of the shift. The Oilers have won 4 games when trailing after 40 minutes.
Have won.
Conversely, Lou, the Anaheim Ducks are 15-0-2 when leading after 40.
Sanders a chance.
Sanders a chance. Nick Schultz for Hardekainen. He tips it in. Lander will chase. Boss sends it around the board. Waiting for it there is Kyle Palmieri. Corey Potter able to keep it in at the point.
Came up and caught Yakupov a little awkwardly. I don't know if it was the stick or the puck that came up. It definitely came up under the visor a little bit.
He is on the bench, being attended to right now by TD4s. Solani gets it to Palmieri. Palmieri with speed across the blue line. Dishes to Solani. A wrist shot, glove save. Happy Bulin. With speed, concern right now is for Nail Yakupov.
Yeah, no question. I'm not sure if it was the puck or the stick. It was along the boards as he tried to attempted to keep that puck alive, and it bobbled up, and it was either the stick or the puck. I do believe it was the puck right there off the glass as Palmieri tries to do that high redirection off the glass and out of the zone. Comes right up and catches him right in the mouth, and a tough kid just skates right over the bench and gets looked at, doesn't go down the tunnel. And for Nail Yakupov, he's really shown that competitive spirit the last few games, through the last 2 weeks actually, where he's really shown that competitive spirit the last few games, through the last 2 weeks. For Nail Yakupov, he's really shown that competitive off the glass and out of the zone. Comes right up and catches him right in the mouth, and a tough kid just skates right over the bench and gets looked at, doesn't go down the tunnel. And for Nail Yakupov, he's really shown that competitive spirit the last few games, through the last 2 weeks actually, where he's really ratcheted it up a notch. And you'll see him get a little feisty out there on the ice as well, but that one's got to sting.
9 points in the month of April for the Russian rookie.
You're in the playoffs.
Tied for 3rd among rookies in points. Steckel's centering pass is picked off by Mike Brown. Ryan Whitney behind his own net, being watched by Radek Dvorak. He'll give it to Eric Belanger. Belanger to Ryan Smith. Ian Bolsonaro continue to joust. Smith spins him around and knocks him down. Tony Luca on the far side has already been hit once by Ryan Smith. Radek Dvorak goes cross ice. Everton Edom will dump it in, and that will allow the Ducks to make a change. The Oil are also going to make a change. Get that top line up there. They're down by 2. Gagne flips it in. Taylor Hall will chase. Hall against Lovejoy. Pushes it to Eberle. Eberle gives it right back to Hall. Hall back to Potter. Fires a shot past the save. Gagliano plays it off the boards, and that one goes out of play. And Corey Potter, the guy that can really fire the guy that will fire the
save off that blast by Potter. But going back to Nail Yakupov, as you mentioned, tied for 3rd in rookie scoring. He's had a real terrific April, and as we talked about, has started to really ratchet up, find his confidence in the game. So in 10 games, 9 points in April, since April 1st, rather. And again, it's that edge that he's playing with, that compassion and that intensity. You know, to just want to go out there, compassion, not compassion, passion, I meant to say. But you love to see that in a young player, and obviously for Nail Yakupov coming in, it's an adjustment playing in the National Hockey League. Love to see that in a young player, and obviously for Nail Yakupov coming in, it's an adjustment.
Even strength, let alone when there's already a penalty to call.
Sharks were 3 for 5. Well, they've been preaching discipline for 48 hours. And
being slower, it's just being a little bit. And it's been nice to see that growth.
I think it's interesting that he talked about his time in Sarnia as really helping him make that adjustment to the National Hockey League. Instead of playing overseas, Ralph Kruger has talked about players coming over from Europe taking longer to adjust to the NHL game than to Canadian or American guys.
And you love hearing Ralph Kruger talk about how coachable young Nail Yakupov is. You know, for a guy that comes into the NHL and, you know, he's been that offensive juggernaut throughout his life playing hockey, but coming in here has to play in a different role, not getting the ice time that he's accustomed to and making do with that ice time and the principles of the game, you know, trying to work on good defensive coverage, being a good teammate, working hard in practice, and he's been really working hard off the ice, you know, doing a lot of extra to get his legs up to this standard and keep that energy level high, and it's paying off here late in the season for Nail Yakupov.
25 points for him. Corey Perry drags it, lets it go. Pad save by Happy Bulin. Molesky flies in after it. Molesky will play it back to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Votman, but Votman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go and score. Back to Votman, but Votman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go and score. And he scores! Second time, and Lucky. Let it go and score.
Corey Perry.
Second time, and Lucky.
The Ducks
And a
come back.
blast from Sammy Votman. He's
A 3-goal comeback to lead it 4-3.
He's got 2 in his career.
And what a shot. And, you know, he did get a little bit of luck here because for Mike Brown, who came out for the block, I believe he kind of turned his head so he didn't take a stick or a puck up high. And kind of goes by and realizes the puck didn't hit him. It was a little bit of a fan shot. So good work again on the forecheck by Anaheim. It's Bolesky who just kind of fires it back there, right there. Kind of fans on the first one. And Brown coming out aggressively goes a little bit too far past. It allows Vatanen to just kind of tee it up and get it right through to the net. Vatanen, sorry, not Ozzy Vatanen, the guy I used to play with from Finland, but he goes through and a good shot gets through and over top of the shoulder.
His second career goal in just his 7th game in the National Hockey League. And Louis, you look at his skills and you think, wow, he lasted till the 4th round in 2009.
Yeah, not the biggest of guys, but offensively minded and down in the American Hockey League. Was second only to Juston Sholts when he first got recalled to the Anaheim Ducks. And has come up here in every game that he's played. They've said he's played a lot better and has played a little more poised. And you can see the offensive upside that he possesses. 44 points down there in American Hockey League before he was recalled. And continues and carries it over to the NHL.
Molesky and Perry get the assists. Solani's backhand goes wide. Corey Perry working on a 2-point night. Jeff Petrie steps into a shot, and Jones is going to go to the penalty box as he ran into Victor Foss. Foss is now going to get up and head to the bench and allow 6 attackers to come on the ice. Now Ryan Jones is an aggressive player, and he was driving the net right into the goaltender. And offside the call, and the Anaheim Ducks to get their 3rd power play.
Cheers for the home team from the home team. Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. With expert advice.
you got to play on that edge and go to the blue paint. That's exactly what Ryan Jones does here as he goes in. And if you look at Foss, he's very far out in the blue paint, right in the tip of it. So Jones, as he turns around and faces the shot, just bulldozes him over. And not a whole lot of space to go there as he turns to look for the shot from Petrie. Good save, as that puck did get through. But he'll go to the box 2 minutes for goalie interference, Jones will. As he bowls him over.
Third power play for the Anaheim Ducks. They are 1 for 2. Ryan Getzlaf got things started past the 6:13 mark of the first period. There is Bachman. Just scores and gives it to Captain Getzlaf. Down to Perry. Fowler was down deep. We saw him score. Bonino with a quick shot, and Happy Bullen quicker to make the save. Bachman able to keep it in. We'll get it to Fowler. Fowler to the corner it goes. Corey Perry going after it against Eric Belanger. Belanger and Smith are up front. Petrie and Schmid on the penalty kill. Getzlaf surveys the scene. Will go down low to Perry. Perry trying to sweep it in front, but Petrie gets there to take it away from him. They tie out in behind the net. Bonino goes in and digs it out to Getzlaf. Ryan Getzlaf hangs on with that long reach. Hard to get to the puck. Here he is. Bachman waits and then fires a wrist shot. That was blocked. Eric Belanger trying to get it out. Bonino keeps it in. Getzlaf. Here's a great pass to Bonino from Perry. He got knocked down before he could get it behind with Nikolai Happy-Bullen. And then Cam Fowler can't keep it in. That will get the Oilers a much-needed change for their penalty killers. Smithson and Horkoff are going to be up front. Potter and Nick Schultz on the blue line. Boschman to the middle for Koivu. He gets stopped. And as they call him, Schultz the older sends it down the ice.
Yeah, good gap there on the rush up the ice and the transition by Anaheim. Good presence to stand their ground on that offensive blue line. Edmonton did to break up that play.
Solani, and shot goes wide. A little bit of a flash there from the Finn. 42 years young. 21st year. We were talking about Formula One racing. His good buddy Kimi Räikkönen finished second in Bahrain over the weekend.
He likes everything fast.
Oh, yeah. He is quite a gearhead. Back to the point as Jones steps out of the penalty box. Boschman had to respect that. He had to retreat. Jones has got it now. He'll dump it in and head to the bench. 12:32 left to go here in the third period. The Anaheim Ducks trying to wrap up the Pacific Division title, the first one since 2007 for them. In that period, the Anaheim Ducks trying to wrap up
the Edmonton Oilers will try to wrap
Pacific
up
Division title.
their Pacific Division title.
7 for them.
And Oilers
And Yakupov
will be the
word for wear
division champions.
on the chin. Standing on the shot there, though, was Timo Hartakainen. Pagliano off his skate. Whitney cuts it away. Leaves it there for Yakupov. He is tackled by Winnick. Behind the net, Pagliano on the steal from Whitney. Slide out in front. It goes to Allen. He fires the shot up high. David Steckel gets it. Juston Sholts watching him as Steckel comes from the corner. Circles the net, tries the wraparound, and gets away from him. Hartakainen is checked neatly there by Edom. Scramble as the Ducks want to make a change. As Allen shoots it in, and the Bluebirds being heard here at Salt Place. Well, he's trying to get organized, and here's Taylor Hall. They can change things in a heartbeat. Chips it in, he'll go after it against Lovejoy. Down the boards it goes, back to Moore, trying to catch up to it. He does. Moore. Pass for Nick Bonino. He'll flip it in, going after it as Edom. And Lou, we have seen two guys who can fly, and Taylor Hall and Emerson Edom.
Yeah, no question. That last little shift there, Edom came off the bench, and I think for Hartakainen, he didn't recognize that anybody was there, but all of a sudden, bang, Edom was right on him and kind of broke up that play, kept that puck alive in the offensive zone, and then Taylor Hall, with his speed, is able to get it down the ice the other way. So two real quick guys out there trying to go north and south.
Gagne, nice pass to Hall. Hall trying to return the favor. Cleared away by Fowler. Perry takes a look. He's got room. He'll speed it across the blue line himself. Buck Brook. Ducks want to make a change from his knees. He gave it right to Schmid. Schmid played it off. Holler. There gets left. Nice pass to Perry. Perry walking in. Taking the shot away. Good defensive play by both Gagne and Schmid. But Getzlaf is there for Perry. Perry trying to slide it to Matt Molesky. Boy, that line would just create all kinds of havoc.
This perfectly preserved uniform came to us via a generous donation from our champion's wife.
Get your game on with Pools.
There's Timo Solani, and we wonder if the Finnish flash is going to hang it up.
Yeah, you never know. You know, he's been kind of tinkering with that off and on over the last multiple years, whether or not he's going to hang the blades up. And you see where he stands, and statistical category is pretty impressive. 251 power play goals for me, stands out third all time. He's been a deadly scorer since his fifth year in the National Hockey League. He scored 76.
Marciano gets stopped. Next stop, Hall of Fame for that guy. And Bogdan can't keep it in. Race for it. Gagne gets there ahead of the rookie. Now they come together behind the net. Gagne goes down. Emily's got the puck. Gagne gets it back. Schmidt out in front. Whitney with it now. Ryan Whitney right on in front. Here's Eberle with a shot. Stopped by Fox. Then he gets the whistle. The Oilers looking for a quick strike with less than 10 minutes to go here in regulation time. We'll be back. Game 4.
On Wednesday night, Andy Moog will be joining the Oilers for Once an Oiler, Always an Oiler night, presented by FedEx. And as part of the special evening, the first 10,000 fans that make their way through the building will be given one of these. An Andy Moog mini stick. Maybe a lot of people don't know. Andy Moog, best winning percentage all time for the Edmonton Oilers, in net at .707. So just like FedEx, number 35, Dylan.
So did you, Gino. 9:54 to go here in regulation time. 23-19. The shots favor the Ducks, and they've got a 3-0 lead.
Tie this game.
Sammy Bogdan gets his second career goal, his first 5-on-5 marker. Still looking for his first NHL assist.
Still looking for his first NHL hat-trick.
Michael Koivu to Andrew Tagliano. By Happy Booling. We were talking about guys who were flying. We forgot about number 7.
Yeah, he's been all over tonight. That line's been very, very good. Reunited again. And, you know, for Cogliano getting the shift out there with a couple of different guys, it's Palmieri out there instead of Winnick. So along with Saku Koivu and Cogliano, two speedy guys that are very aggressive on the forecheck. And Cogliano's had a couple of real dynamite chances, but just can't get them by his own teammate Nikolai had to do it.
Well, we're talking about Timo Solani. How about Saku Koivu? Do you think he has got some more time left in him as we take a look at a guy that doesn't seem to stop? He just plays every game with speed.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to tell, but obviously they found some chemistry for Cogliano. You know, he's had a real good year this year for the Anaheim Ducks, and, you know, Edmonton fans obviously remember him from the days in Edmonton where he made up the kid line with Nilsson and Gagne, and their first years came together and played very well together for a couple of years in that trio. But wheels to burn as well, and he utilizes them well.
All centers it in.
Centers it in.
Cleared away.
Jordan Eberle cleared away. He's trying to look for the tie in this game. Here's Jordan Eberle. Eberle scores! What a goal by the Wizard! He ties this game at 4 in Game 4.
Get the kid line with Nilsson.
As we take a look at a guy that doesn't seem to stop. He just plays every game with speed.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to tell, but obviously they found some chemistry for Cogliano. You know, he's had a real good year this year for the Anaheim Ducks.
Jordan Eberle. This is third goal in the playoffs.
You know, he's had a real good year this year for the Anaheim Ducks. And,
Juston Sholts.
you know, Edmonton fans
First NHL playoff hat-trick.
obviously remember him from the days in Edmonton where Ducks and, you know, Edmonton fans obviously remember him from the days in Edmonton where he made a
play, and then Connor steps into a shot. It's Schultz on the far side. Schultz will get it to Eberle. Wait for Hall. Hall spins away from Bonino. Fowler sends it to the corner of Hall right on. Back to Schultz. Nick Schultz. Connor wants the puck. He wants to tee it up. Hall does instead. It's picked wide. And it comes to Hall, and he gets checked by Corey Potter. And then Kyle Palmieri able to get that puck out. And down off the stick. Tell us what is he right here.
It's time now to play the Telus Fan Right Fan Wrong Trigger game. The future is friendly. Tonight's question in the 1997-98 season. The owners had the most shutouts. How many did they have? Was it 12, 3, 10, or 8? Enter for your chance to win an Optic TV and Samsung prize package valued at $13,000 or a 32-inch Samsung HDTV. All you have to do is text Oilers to 333-777 or visit telus.com/hot.
Yeah, Ducks like playing the Northwest Division. They are 10-3. Against score in the Northwest, and they'll have another crack at another one
in the
on
postseason.
Thursday. They'll travel to Vancouver and then finish up at home on Saturday against Phoenix.
Currently in the
Sweep
second
the
round.
series against the Edmonton Oilers. All the games between the Ducks and Oilers in April.
Tied this
Nick
game
Schultz fired it towards the net at 4-4. Ryan Smith just couldn't get a stick on it. Race for it. Juston Sholts against David Steckel.
led the game with two comebacks.
The center, and here's Yakupov with a quick pass to Smith. Smith into a shotgun and fires it wide. And from all the way back down to Juston Sholts, he'll give it to Nick. So bounce that puck in. Anton Lander going after it against Ryan Allen. Steckel checked by Smith. And he's able to get it out the center. 24-19 the shots on goal.
The shot is
16 after 40 minutes. Yakupov brings it in.
and a 4-4 tie.
Good veteran Radek Dvorak to get that puck out. A change coming. Petrie, long shot. Easy glove save for Victor Fox.
We saw right there that for a young Neil Yakupov trying to go through like 2 or 3 Anaheim Ducks. Good sticks out in the lanes, and they collapse very well. They've been very good at being a unit. The ice and back as well. Good back pressure by the forwards, making it so difficult to establish anything off the rush because they're right there pestering, allows their defensemen to stand up and be very aggressive with the sticks on the line.
Ducks 12-5-5 on the road. They are the 5th best road team in the National Hockey League. Koschemat. They blocked there by Jared Smithson. Sends around the boards. Orkoff intercepts. Orkoff, Jones, Smithson. Smithson back to the point. Ladislav Schmid is there. He'll give it to Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie fires a shot. Glove save by Foss. And he dropped it and then covered it. Well, the replays and live shots from our netcams are brought to you by LASIK MD, providing you with a 20/20 view of all the action tonight.
Still a little snow on that lens from that last shift, is it?
Well, the Smithson back to the point. Ladislav Schmid is there. He'll give it to Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie fires a shot. Glove save to the point. Ladislav Schmid is there. He'll give it to Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie fires a shot. Glove save by Foss. And he dropped.
Established a 40%
percentage. Here is Cogliano. The shot that slides just wide. Andrew Cogliano, his 8th game against his old team, has just 1 point. But it's not because he's not trying. Louise had tons of chances. Tons. Speaking of chances, here comes Everly. Everly cross ice. Here's Gagne with a quick shot, and Foss had the angle. Daniel Winnick. He'll outlet that pass to Ben Lovejoy. He gets stopped by Potter. Gets a little help from Everly. Potter does. Juston Sholts chips it in. Just over 6 minutes left to go in regulation time. Nick Schultz keeps it in at the blue line. Throws it deep for Gagne behind the net. Checked by Nick Bonino. Fowler from the corner. Everly watching him. Fowler lays it to the middle. And picked up there by Lovejoy, who gives it to Bonino. Bonino tried to fake out Happy Bulin, but it didn't work.
That almost did, though. A good little fake because he's going to dump it in and fire it to the net.
We'll be back to Rexall. The outstanding play, outstanding result is brought to you by RE/MAX, Canada's most productive agents.
Well, it's a goal that made it 2-0 for the Anaheim Ducks, and it was by Radek Dvorak. His 3rd goal against the Edmonton Oilers this year in 2 games. A nice little play to drive the puck into the middle by Steckel, all 6'6" of them, and a beautiful little back pass by Edom right to Dvorak into the back of the net. He'll take a whole bunch like that. And that is the RE/MAX play to me.
His 10th goal against his old team in his 24th career game against the Oilers. There's 5:35 left to go in this matchup between these two teams.
In game 4.
Back to the point it comes. Jeff Petrie keeps it in for Ryan Smith. Smith. Nick Schultz back up top it goes. Off the speed of Petrie right to Palmieri. He looks for Solani.
The lead in this
Too
second
far for
round
him.
series.
Ryan Smith is there. Now Palmieri on the giveaway. Now Palmieri on front for Timo Solani. That pass too hard. Bonino with a shot off the skate. Another shot by Solani this time, and Happy Bulin was equal to the task. Koschemat throws it towards the net. Happy Bulin to save the rebound. It's picked up by Jeff Petrie. 25-22. Shots on goal favor the Ducks.
As you mentioned, no question, Timo Solani is still showing some of that speed that he's possessed throughout his career. And good job by Petrie first to get in his way just a little bit on the sequence coming into the zone. The nifty little move and the spin around. And Happy Bulin has to come up with a big save.
He's got 90 points and 29 games against the Oilers. Schmid will flip it in. Hall will chase it down against Tony Lubin. Lubin knocks him down. Edom. Out to Dvorak. Dvorak sees Eberle come back smartly and prevent him from going too far. But here comes Edom right back in. Emerson Edom lays it by the net. Ladislav Schmid will send it around for Hall.
Winning their title.
Taylor Hall takes a look and play it back to Schmid, and the Ducks content to let the Oilers bring it out as they make a change and send their big line out there. With 4 minutes to go in the third period.
In game 4.
Nick Schultz, his only goal of the season came April 8th against the Anaheim Ducks in Anaheim. Lovejoy plays it off the boards, gets it to Bolesky. Bolesky to Getzlaff. Getzlaff checked by Schultz. Fowler will bring it in. Sam Fowler on the right side, stops. Lays it behind the net. Corey Perry gets there and then leaves it for Getzlaff. Getzlaff right out in front, nobody home. John Horkoff. He's got 3 points in his last 5 games. They need something right here with 3:25 to go. That puck goes out of play.
Goes out of play.
After the game is connected, and here's a preview with Martin.
Here's a preview.
Huge playoff implications after tonight's hockey games. We'll have all the highlights.
Yeah, we'll also show you if the Jays can survive a close one in Baltimore.
Big challenge for both.
New line mate for Richards and Carter. Dustin Penner, a healthy scratch, the former Oilers.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Not heaping all the blame on
For the
Penner.
Edmonton Oilers, of course, they game 5.
Botman turns, plays it off the boards. Stepped up to Nick Schultz. Ryan Smith sweeps it in. Foss will leave it there for Brian Allen. Allen goes up the middle to Saku Koivu. Barber Empire shoots it right back in, and there was Botman to block it, and that's what the Ducks have been doing all night. Yakupov paddled down there for Foss, and he made 2 saves, one on Yakupov and one on Smith. Yakupov with it now. Daniel Winner. Opposite corner it goes. Bagliano going after it against Potter. But it is Lander who picks it up. Anton Lander. He'll give it to Taylor Hall. Seems like Taylor Hall has been out there all game. Played a ton of minutes the last game these teams played.
Yeah, over 23 minutes last night, which was a season high for Taylor Hall. So for Ralph Kruger, just going with the young legs and getting him out there on a regular basis, trying to erase that goose egg on the scoreboard, down 3-0 with just over 2 minutes to go. It's going to be now or never for Edmonton to push back here.
Solani gets by Hall. Leaves it there for Bonino with a shot, and Abibulin makes the save.
UEFA Champions League soccer is down to the semifinals. It begins tomorrow when Spanish powerhouse Barcelona travels to Germany to take on 2012 runner-up Bayern Munich in the first leg of their matchup. Then on Wednesday, another Spanish-German matchup. Real Madrid visits Borussia Dortmund. Both matches on Sportsnet West, Pacific East, and Ontario at 12:30 p.m. Mountain each day.
Gene, who's the guy that got the hat trick recently? The Percy hat trick.
Van Persie.
Van Persie. Wow. That guy is one kind of player.
Robin Van Persie.
There you go. Manchester United. And wow, what a shock that they have great players.
England champ.
1:47 left to go. Ladislav Schmid. Come on in now. Schmid being watched by Cam Fowler. Schmid getting a little help from Ryan Jones. Horkoff with it now. John Horkoff. He'll play it over. Juston Sholts snaps a shot. Schmid trying to keep it in. Can't do it. He's going to go back into his own zone. That means the Oilers will make a change. Yakupov, Lander, and Smith are going to hop over the boards with time winding down in this hockey game. Dale Yakupov. Trying to get by Palmieri. Palmieri moving in. Here's Solani's shot, and that was blocked by Schmid, and that hurt number 5. He's making his way to the bench. It's insult and injury because he's going to have to stay out there. Ladislav Schmid leads this team in block shots. And he's paid the price, and he's hurting right now.
There's not too many games that go by the Ladislav Schmid isn't going to some sort of agony. There's no question about that. And,
Playoff hat trick.
Reads it so well, recognizes the plays going from his right to his left, gets that skate down, and he takes it on the inside of the skate like that. These guys are so willing to open up the skates. Back in the day, not a chance he would do something like that. But today you see it so often where they'll get down, turn the skate sideways, take got more space, more opportunity to block that shot, and that's definitely playing the place right there.
Less than a minute to go in this one. Victor Boss with 3 shutouts. Came in 8th in the league in goose eggs, 40 seconds away from his 4th career. Bachman. There's faith in the young man. An emergency recall is number 45, Bachman, and he's paid the Ducks back. He's got a goal tonight. Sholts will go back to get it. 21 seconds left to go in this one.
The Oilers force overtime.
And go to Minnesota for a game on Friday. We're going to have that one for you on Sportsnet. The final road game of the season.
And Oilers have 5 seconds to go.
Is this the final rush?
This is the final rush. And the Edmonton Oilers will head to overtime
takes a look
against the Ducks. It's time in the second round.
Who wins his 15th game of the year and gets his 4th.
Thanks for everything.
Thing for him.
Pressure by Anaheim. Much better second. Create some chances. The form of Anaheim really start getting pucks in deep and establishing cycles with
They were tied up for
and a much better middle frame for Edmonton.
much better third.
Oh, when we come back, after the break, the panel is going to discuss the Western Conference and how they see it all shaking out.
Alberta Capital is where we are. This Friday is
Summaries brought to you by the Warley Parsons Cord Group. They're now hiring trades in oil country. Visit WarleyParsons.com/careers and apply today.
Ball scoring down in this one in the first period by Anaheim. Ryan Getzlaf with his 15th. Radek Dvorak, his 4th goal of the season with the Anaheim Ducks, and only his 8th game of the year. And 3 against the Edmonton Oilers. No scoring in that second period. A better pushback by Edmonton. They're going to continue on the power play here as Ben Lovejoy still has some time on the clock on his holding penalty on Ryan Smith.
And the guys we're talking about physical play, the Oilers out-hit the Ducks 17-15. The guys we're talking about physical play, the Oilers out-hit the Ducks 17-15 through 40 minutes. And as Louis mentioned, power play time for the Oilers, carrying over 17 seconds left.
Or 38.
Juston Sholts keeps it in at the line against Daniel Wood. And then Tony Lubman able to get that puck down the ice, and that might do it for the penalty to Ben Lovejoy.
Mostly being a lot of comfortable. 5 points over the air in this game. He's been really good to just stay with the battle on that second effort. Gets it out.
Here's Taylor Hall with a shot high. Boss got a piece of it. Perry got a piece of the net. Took it off the moorings.
Not a whole lot of time left in the power play, and they re-up the puck very quickly on the transition. Get Taylor Hall with speed down the left-hand side. And another good stick in a diving motion. And for Anaheim, they've been diving all over the place in this game tonight, blocking shots, getting a stick on a puck at the last second. And it's that second effort, that urge.
22 blocks the first 40 minutes. They have limited the Oilers to just 2 shots with the man advantage. They have limited the Oilers to just 2 shots with the man advantage, and the Oilers have had 3 power plays in this game. They are still looking for their first power play against the Ducks this season.
And it's just that committed effort to defense for Anaheim. You see a lot of times 5 bodies that collapse back in the defensive zone, keep things to the offside, but they don't stay stationary. When they have a chance to attack, they're very aggressive.
A win by Horkoff. Schmid behind the net.
That collapse back in the defensive zone, keep things to the offside, but they don't stay stationary. When they have a chance to attack, they're very aggressive.
A win by Horkoff. Schmid behind the net it goes. Fowler picks it up there. And Fowler to the middle for Corey Perry. Schmid was right on it.
Those 2 guys have had a battle tonight.
Getzlaf pass intended for Bolesky was picked off, but here's Getzlaf picking it off. And Petrie prevented that puck from getting over to Perry, who was ready for the one-timer.
Good step.
Schmid. Smithson, outlet pass intended for Horkoff, just out of his reach at the end of the shift. The Oilers have won 4 games when trailing after 40 minutes. Conversely, Lou, the Anaheim Ducks are 15-0-2 when leading after 40.
So saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. Nick Sholts for Hardekainen. He tips it in. Lander will chase. Boss sends it around the boards. Waiting for it there is Kyle Palmieri. Corey Potter able to keep it in at the point.
came up and caught Yakupov a little awkwardly. I don't know if it was the stick or the puck that came up, but definitely came up under the visor a little bit.
He is on the bench, being attended to right now by TD4s. Solani gets it to Palmieri. Palmieri with speed across the blue line. Dishes to Solani. A wrist shot, glove save. Happy Bulin. And the concern right now is for Nail Yakupov.
Yeah, no question. I'm not sure if it was the puck or the stick. It was along the boards as he tried to attempted to keep that puck alive, and it fouled up, and it was either the stick or the puck. I do believe it was the puck right there off the glass as Palmieri tries to do that high redirection off the glass and out of the zone. Comes right up and catches him right in the mouth, and a tough kid just skates right over the bench and gets looked at, doesn't go down the tunnel. And for Nail Yakupov, he's really shown that competitive spirit the last few games, through the last 2 weeks actually, where he's really ratcheted it up a notch. And we'll see him get a little feisty out there in the ice as well. Got to stay.
9 points in the month of April for the Russian rookie. Tied for third among rookies in points. Steckel centering pass is picked off by Mike Brown. Ryan Whitney behind his own net. He wants by Ryan Savora. He'll give it to Eric Belonte. Belonte to Wyatt Smith. Ian Bozeman. Continue to joust. Smith spins him around and knocks him down. Tony Luke on the far side has already been cut once by Ryan Smith. Back to Moore. First cross ice. Never can beat him. They'll dump it in, and that will allow the Ducks to make a change. The Oilers are also going to make a change. Get that top line out there. They're down by 2. Gagne flips it in. Taylor Hall will chase. Hall against Lovejoy. Pushes it to Eberle. Eberle gives it right back to Hall. Hall back to Fire. Fires a shot. Lost the save. Gagliano plays it off the boards, and that one goes out of play. The Torrey Potter, the guy that can really fire the puck.
Cover, and I love to see that, the young board there, compassion, not compassion, passion, I meant to say. But you love to see that, the young player, and obviously for Nail Yakupov coming in, it's an adjustment playing in the National Hockey League. Just want to go edge that he's playing with, that compassion and that challenge. This
Faria is really helping him make that adjustment to the National Hockey League. Instead of playing overseas, Ralph Kruger has talked about players coming over from Europe taking longer to adjust to the NHL game than to
throughout his life playing hockey, but coming in here has to play in the different principles of the game. You know, trying to work on good defensive coverage, being a good teammate, working hard in practice, and he's been really working hard off the ice. You know, doing a lot of extra to get his legs up to this standard and keep that energy level high. And it's paying off here late in the season for Nail Yakupov.
25 points for him. Corey Perry ranks it, lets it go. Bad save by Happy Bulin. Molesky flies in after it. Molesky will play it back to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Bachman, but Bachman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go and score. Happy Bulin. Molesky flies in after it. Ranks it, lets it go. Bad save by Happy Bulin. Molesky flies in after it. Molesky will play it back to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Bachman, but flies in after it. Molesky will play it back to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Bachman, but Bachman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Bachman, but Bachman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go to Getzlaf. He'll let it go all the way back to Bachman, but Bachman fanned on one shot. Now he'll let it go and score.
Here's Juston Sholts. Sholts for the win. Here's Juston Sholts for the overtime hero. Hat-trick. Juston Sholts. Overtime winner. Game over. Series over. And the Edmonton Oilers are division champions. They're heading to the conference final.
Will play Chicago on Wednesday.
And what a party for the Oilers. A hat-trick
career
for Juston Sholts. This is first of his career in the playoffs.
The 30-year-old rookie going to Minnesota for a game.
For the Oilers, and the 5 minutes and 22 seconds left in the shift. And Juston Sholts ends it.
On Friday, we're going to have that one for you on Sportsnet, the final road game of the season. This is the final. Now lost. Trick T. Victor Boss, who wins his 15th game of the year and gets his 4th shutout of his career. And the Oilers have now lost 5 straight at home as they get swept in the season series. The final of this one leaves Duck 3, and the Oilers go straight. Of his career. And the Oilers have now lost 5 straight at home as they, who wins his 15th game of the year. But the 30-year-old rookie Victor Boss, who wins his 5th, get that puck and give it. The 30-year-old rookie Victor Boss, who wins his 15th game of the year and gets his 4th
the second round series.
Boss, who wins his 15th game of the year and gets his 4th shutout. Boss, who wins his 15th game of the year and gets lost 5 shutouts of his career. And the Oilers have now lost 5 straight at home as they get swept.
Have won 8 straight.
And the Oilers have now lost 5 straight at home as they get career. Game. And the Oilers have now lost 5 straight at home as they get swept in the season series. Now lost 5 straight at home as they get swept in the season series. The final of this one,
final score in this one in game 4.
In the season series,
for the Edmonton Oilers.
This one reads
Juston Sholts with a hat trick goal in overtime.
Final of this one reads Duck 3, and the Oilers in the season series.
On behalf of
final of this one reads Duck 3,
good night, Oilers from Edmonton.
Telus Oilers hockey on Sportsnet.
The Stanley Cup
Telus Oilers hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Telus, the future is friendly. By Molson Canadian, proud partner of the Oilers. Molson Canadian, this is our game. By Ford, go further. And by Rexall, feel good.
Our 3-star selection is brought to you by Molson Canadian.
We have more playoff games. Game 5 for the Canucks.
Rexall selection is brought to you by Molson Canadian. Brewed with the best this land has to offer. Our 3-star selection is brought to you by Molson Canadian. Brewed with the best this land has to offer. And Ryan Getzlaf starting to heat up. Point with the best this land has to offer. And Ryan Getzlaf starting to heat up. Points in 4 of his last 5 games. Another 3-star Corey Perry. Started the night tied for the team leading assist with Bobby Ryan and Scotty Coyle, who now takes the role and the spot all by his lonesome. And Victor Boss with his 4th shutout of the season. That is one off. 6 goals in 1 series for the league lead when it comes to goose eggs on the part of goaltenders here in the National Hockey League. It was a physical night, second of back-to-back games between Anaheim and Edmonton, and just like the first one and the second one, it is the Ducks that record the victory against the Edmonton Oilers, and it is Anaheim that finds itself atop the Pacific Division as they clinch the division title with a shutout win at Rexall Place this evening. The division title with a shutout win at Rexall Place this evening.
At Rexall Place, 4 games to none.
For NHL on TSN doubleheader.